Yes, you are.
Whatever.
Nerd.
Nerd.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Not a Nerd Pod. I'm your girl Mary LK. We have Lou, we have Captain Charisma in the building.
How do you do?
You guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. We always want to hear from you.
Yes.
Okay, how are you guys feeling?
Tired, sleepy, exhausted. Is there any other words for
That's
this?
why he's not on camera.
Yeah, this is not. I'm not okay with it.
Okay. What about you, Lou?
Another long week, man. I'm just preparing for this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day to everybody that celebrates.
Hey, it's Friday, man.
You for those
It's Friday for me.
That's what it's about.
Technically, it's like Sunday for me. Saturday for me. Tomorrow, Sunday. I got
That's
a
tough.
7-day work week ahead of me, so
Oof. I'm sorry.
rough.
Mm.
Rough. Hey, but my birthday next weekend, so
Bro.
Happy birthday.
yeah. Humbug.
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 Okay.
You know what's crazy? It's like no, because it's like, all my friends and my family are back home. Everybody's in New York. So I got
I told
probably
you.
3 friends that I really know or I really mess with out here. My wife
I
and my
told you to
kids.
move to
It's like,
Texas.
No, sometimes
move
it's about
to Texas
quality
for what?
enough.
What am I moving to Texas for?
I said nobody told you to move to Texas.
I didn't move to Texas. You know what? You know what?
Mm. All right.
How are you, Mary? How are you doing?
Right. How are you?
How's your
How are
week?
you? How are you?
I'm alive and grateful as always.
Amen.
God, and I've been busy. To be honest, I did a play. I performed in a play last week.
Okay.
And so I'm
How did it
happy.
go?
It went awesome. I did awesome because
Love
I'm.
that. Okay. High five.
My little
You didn't
one.
high five. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
My little one dances for Alvin Ailey. This was her first dance here with them. So after being with other dance schools, so they did their junior division spring recital. So she did amazing.
Nice.
She has a violin recital coming up next week.
Excuse me.
So May is just a busy month for us, but I've been doing a lot of auditions. So that's been crazy. So between work, school, auditions, play, her performances, and her practices, I've just been really busy. So I'm a
Nice.
little half here, but I'm here.
Hey, listen. We glad you made it.
Thank you. And
Thanks.
just trying to keep my mental straight and not strangle anyone. That's all. That's. I didn't know how I was gonna feel coming into today, but again, I'm here. So
Hey,
let's
you here.
topics.
That's all that matters.
Okay, so I've actually been really excited to talk about this because one, I'm a fiend for this movie. Two, because I actually know a couple people who acted in the movie. Well, I know who they are and kind of sort of loosely grew up around them. But anyway, but as we all know, the 7 deadly sins were represented in the movie centers. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
really been a topic online. I even sent you guys to TikTok the video where they were debating who was worse. So before we get there, I want to know which of the 7 deadly sins do you guys think you have struggled with or most identify with and had to overcome or you're still working through? So, for those who may not know the 7 deadly sins, we have
Yeah, explain that to me.
pride, gluttony, sloth, um, anger,
Mm.
greed, oh my God, I just went blank. Which ones did I say?
You
Oh,
say
lust.
gluttony.
Gluttony.
Yeah,
Lust.
lust.
And oh my god, what is the last one? So we have pride, gluttony, greed, sloth, anger, lust, and there's one more. Oh my god, is it apathy? Jesus help me. I'm just gonna look up the last one, guys.
That's fine.
Because I grew up in church, so for all the church people, they're gonna be like, "Excuse me, you don't know the seven
Mhm.
deadly sins? Oh my goodness, how dare you!" Especially my pastor
Hey,
aunts and
hey,
uncles.
I was scared to ask. I didn't want
Envy.
nobody
There
to
you
jump
go.
in here.
Envy.
Envy.
Yes, that's the one I was forgetting.
Interesting.
So yes, it's pride, greed, wrath, which is basically anger, lust, gluttony, and sloth, which means laziness. So, as we know, everything is supposed to be like done in moderation, but they call these deadly sins because when it's not in moderation and you're operating in these in an extreme capacity, they can lead you to your death.
Mm.
So, and honestly, I believe that yes, it is a spiritual religious thing that, mainly, but honestly, if you take away religion, you take away spirituality, and you operate in these things in an extreme, yes, logically, they can still lead you to your death. So, what do you feel? Which ones do you guys align with? You've had to work through or still working through? And can you identify which characters represented which sin?
Gluttony for sure. Gluttonous piece of shit.
Not
Um,
a
that's why I had to,
POS.
hey, listen, that's why I had to get on my fitness journey. You feel me?
Mm.
Um,
Well, gluttony's not just about, it could be,
no, no, I know.
overtake do anything.
But
So,
I'm also thinking of what's that anime? What's the
The
fucking
seven
anime?
deadly sins.
No, with the Eldritch brothers. Or the
Oh,
is it Eldritch
Full Metal
brothers?
Alchemist.
Yeah, that
oh,
I'm
yeah.
thinking of gluttony. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's where my mind went.
Okay.
Um,
That should have
but
been a
for
full
me,
question. A lot of people, their minds did went to anime when this question was asked.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mm,
But for me, anger has been a big part of my life.
mm. So wrath.
Yeah, but it's something I've worked on. I've worked through, still working on. So,
Mm,
um, just trying to be better at it, things
mm,
like that. But also having like the awareness of it, it helps
yeah.
a
That's
lot.
auto.
So, yeah.
Okay. Gluttony and wrath. Okay. That is interesting that you say that because, your demeanor from working with you for this last year, your demeanor doesn't give anger or wrath, but it gives like I can go there, but
It's a lot of growth, man. it's, it's been
interesting.
a lot of growth for me. So, yeah.
Mm,
I've not only been on my fitness journey, but my spiritual journey, my mental journey, things like that. Reading, picking up books, and so
mm. What about you, Lou?
Man, pride,
Mm,
pride. I think as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as a friend, um, as a human,
Mm.
pride is something that we
Pride is the
all have
devil.
and we all struggle with. You could be very it's hard to not be prideful when you believe in something
mm,
wholeheartedly, and it's hard to go back on your convictions because of your pride. So sometimes, pride can make you um not see the error of your ways. Sometimes pride can um overshadow the good sometimes pride can be your downfall.
Mm,
So I think that that's probably something that I think everybody works on ultimately, but for me specifically, um, it's tough. It's tough, Um, you want to you want to be the best version of yourself,
yeah.
and sometimes in that journey to be the best version of yourself, um, somebody could point out a flaw, and because you can allow pride, ego is a good synonym that goes with pride. It can come in between um self-reflection, and you can look at it as in, no, I don't need to change that about myself, or I don't need to do this, or I don't need to
Mm,
do that.
mhm,
And like I said, I mean, it could lead to your downfall. So you know i I think every day I struggle with putting my pride to the side, and allowing myself to um relish in more enjoyable moments, I guess. um you I think we take advantage, I think we take for granted um the ability to learn from others.
Mm,
You know what
mm,
I'm saying?
mm,
So it's
I
it's it's
agree.
tough, man. It's tough. When you're at work, it's a little bit easier to put your pride aside and be like, you know what, I need to do this because I'm being told to do this, even though it could be uh, a gray area for you, or you may not want to do it, or you may not necessarily agree with what's going on. Like, for instance, everybody that's in Congress, you may not agree with the laws, and sometimes you got to put your pride to the side to work with individuals you may not necessarily like, or
Yeah.
um you may not necessarily agree with in their moral code.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but I do believe that um I've come a long way from where I was,
mhm,
There you go.
and the only way that I could continue to be better is by putting my pride to the side, apologizing when I feel that I'm wrong,
mhm,
um um trying to navigate those areas and steps when I feel like I've hurt somebody or I've wronged somebody, you know, uh, or even deeper than that. It's like, you want your kids to kind of mirror your good aspects, and in order to do that, sometimes you do have to just be like, you know what, I flubbed up. Let me
My slug.
let me backtrack. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's something that I'm still working on as a
Okay.
human. And
Well, everybody's a work in progress.
yeah.
every day, every
It's
day.
a journey. I have a motto: you learn better, you know better, you do better, you be better.
Mhm.
And strong
Bars.
believer in that. And I feel that when you know better and you take and you don't willingly do better, that's when you fail. So I think everybody's a work in progress. For me, um, I would say that at some point in my life, and sometimes still, have struggled with, and struggle with gluttony, sloth, and pride. Pride for me, growing up, became a defense mechanism.
Mm,
So a good portion of my life, I was operating in like a survivor's mentality. So,
mm.
and well, that's what I was doing. I was trying to survive a lot of shit. So, excuse my language.
I just learned a new term today. It's called trauma fluency, and it talks about it talks a lot about like survival instinct and things like that. Like I took a little deep dive into it. Yeah,
I did
yeah.
I even did a workshop some years back called the survivor's mentality because I wanted
Mm,
everyone to understand. I do at a conference. I wanted everyone to understand that there is another side to the coin. You know, there's more
right.
to life than surviving. And when you're in survival mode, there's a lot of things that you do that furthers the trauma. So,
Mm,
like I said, pride became a defense mechanism to me, and I became hyper independent, which is
Mm-hmm.
very toxic, um,
Mm-hmm.
and almost cost me my life. So I literally have experienced near death, situations because I was operating in that survivor's mentality and in that pride space instead of realizing I had to break out of it. So I
Wow.
definitely struggled with that. Um, I am still very passionate because I'm a facts over feelings type of person. So, if I say something, it's usually because I know it for a fact. And so I'm very passionate about it. So I can admit when I'm wrong, but you got to prove me wrong. Um, but I usually don't come from the emotional place. If I do, that means I clearly care about you or something like that. But um, so I've I work. That's a daily I guess process for me. Gluttony is because I'm the eldest of all my mama's kids, and I've always had to be Mama Mary. So that's in every area of my life. I've always had to lead. So when you are in that space, you tend to overdo, and sometimes you don't recognize when you should, kind of fall back and follow or allow someone else to do it because you want certain results. So you tend to overdo, and then it goes to your emotions. If I do get emotional, I overspend or I might overeat or so
Mm-hmm.
gluttony was something I struggled with. And then sloth, because when I get frustrated, I shut down. And so I don't want to do nothing. And I'm
Right.
tired. And so I become procrastinative, like I procrastinate and then I get lazy. So those are the three that I've always had to like keep myself in check about. So
mm,
yeah. Do you guys know which characters represented which sin in the movie?
Um. I forget names. I forget names. Who's the drunk? I forgot his name. Wasn't he gluttonous?
Yeah, I would call him gluttonous. Yeah,
Um,
for sure, for
S-
sure.
Smoke was wrath. No.
Okay.
Stack. I probably lust. Um, no.
These are your opinions. These are it's subjective.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you the
Okay.
answer.
That's crazy. Um,
I want to hear what you have to say.
what was it? What was it? It wasn't Mary. Was it Mary?
The
Mary's
white,
the white girl, right? Yeah,
yeah, the
she
white
was
girl.
envious.
Stanfield. Stanfield. Oh yeah, for sure.
And,
Oh my God, for
envious
sure.
for sure. Yeah.
She had a lot going
Um.
on. Well, there was a whole lot going on in there. Okay, okay.
Trying to think of more characters.
Who had greed? Who do you think was greed?
Oh, that's tough.
I feel like
That's
some
tough.
characters had multiple sins on them. Some you
Yeah,
could
but
tell like, oh, they're this, but some of them they gotta had more than one. So that was interesting.
I'm thinking of multiple people you could put under greed.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely one could be what's her face? The Asian chick.
Grace,
Yeah.
one who played Grace Chow. Mm-hmm.
I want to say she could be greed, I guess. Um
Very true. Very true. Because she was there strictly for the work.
yeah, she was trying to get that money on. She was
Yeah,
like,
she
I ain't
didn't
here for
care
nothing
about
else.
anything else. Yeah, she didn't care about anything else. What about you?
um
um,
he didn't like the movie.
Yeah,
Um
get out of here.
he did say that he likes
he
black
even
people
he even liked the movie for real. He
Rob
wasn't paying attention.
Get
Mhm,
out of here.
mhm.
Anyways, sloth would be
See? See what I'm saying?
the
Cornbread.
what's his I mean cornbread could be there, but I'm saying out of the main cast,
Cornbread was the
sloth
main guest.
not really. Um I feel like sloth
Main
was
character.
what's his face? The drunken the
Also,
musician.
That's fair.
yeah, that's fair.
Um gluttony if anybody was gluttonous, I would put cornbread there.
Mm.
That's crazy.
But
Why? Because he was
Because he's
big? He
what?
wasn't even eating.
his whole his whole in order to get him to work was money and food.
That is true.
So
Yeah, but he
you
was doing
know
it for his family.
that's what
He
got
wasn't
him
doing it
to
for he wasn't doing it for no reason.
no he wanted the money and the food. Greed is Mary, hands down,
Mm,
and Stack would probably be in there with her,
mhm.
but I wouldn't put Stack there. I put I would say Stack if I'm gonna do the main cast, Stack would be gluttony.
Mm.
Stack wanted everything. He wanted everything.
But wouldn't that be
Um
greed?
no, I feel like Mary would be greed because she was willing to go through extremes to get
To
her
get it.
means.
Yeah, that is greed.
I would more
Yes.
say
Okay.
as Stack was more gluttonous because he
Everything over the
he
top. He wanted to do everything. All.
right.
I can see it.
It wasn't just about greed for him. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he cared about the money specifically. I think he cared about everything else that will come with gluttony, like the lights,
True,
the love,
but
the
the thing with
he wanted to feed off of all of that's ultimately that's why he became like that's why he lived that as a vampire. He wanted to experience the life. He wanted to soak it all in.
Mm,
Um
that's right.
Sammy is lust, without a doubt. Sammy is lust.
Really?
Yeah, he lusted after the married woman. He lusted
But
after the lives of his cousins. He wanted to live that life. He lusted. He was a church boy who lusted for the things that he couldn't obtain being in church. He lusted for
hmm.
the
And
freedom of
ultimately, he
not
is the one that
of
survived.
not. I'm sorry.
I said ultimately he is the one that survived and got to live that life that he wanted.
Right. Um,
Hmm.
Envy would be the vampire, the white vampire. He envied Sammy for being able to sing and connect with generations and be able to kind of he envied the culture, the black culture. He envied people that were able to see the sun ultimately, that were able to live their lives the way that they wanted to live their lives.
Fact about Sammy, he really is a church boy in real life. That's actually his life. Miles Campton, he actually is. He's Pastor Timmy Figueroa's son. And I grew up around the Figueroas on and off as a church kid myself. So yeah, he actually is comes from a long line of singers, and he was singing backup for her before he got this role. So fun fact about him. But go ahead.
Wrath is smoke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wrath is smoke. He was very angry. He was very um he is pushing people away. I mean, he pushed his own wife away because he was angry at losing his child. It
Mm.
there's just so many parallels that link him with Wrath. And Pride, I would say, is between Grace, the Asian girl, and I forget um the black girl's name. What's her Smoke's wife?
Oh, Annie.
Annie. Yeah. So I would say Pride would be Annie. Annie was very prideful. She didn't want to lose her family at any means. Um she didn't want to, lose her. She was willing to lose her own life in order for Smoke to ultimately live. I mean, she didn't know how to put her pride to the side because she was so prideful over being, a strong black woman that she had to, ultimately
Lou, be careful,
be
man.
that person.
Okay.
But
All right. Interesting. So
That is interesting.
there yeah, very interesting. So wait, I'm a little stumped on that. Okay. All right. So there is a debate. I don't know if I should address that. That is interesting. That's an interesting take, Lou. I really actually wasn't expecting that. Um hmm. All right, fine. So I actually think Lou is kind of semi spot on. Semi. I think you guys both kind of hit some good points. I do
Mm.
think that Smoke was also, he wasn't just wrath, he was also pride though.
Oh, he
Um,
was that. Oh, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
he
You
definitely
could
had,
go either or with that one.
yeah. Um, I think that the vampires were both envy and greed.
Hmm.
I
For
think
sure.
Mary was greed and lust.
Who?
Mary.
Mary. Yeah,
I think Annie was. I struggle with her character because
I do too.
uh,
I wouldn't say so prideful. I wouldn't. I wouldn't go prideful.
I, I mean, if we're gonna be technical with the technical definitions, a part of her character did display pride. If we're gonna be
Okay,
by the definitions of these sins, then yes,
that's fair.
yeah. But I struggle with the because of the context. I struggle of her character, but technically, she did display pride. Um, I don't know that anyone really displayed sloth. Well, I mean, Lou said the musician, but I didn't really see sloth in there because I feel like it wasn't that he was lazy, it was that he wanted to stay in his own lane. He didn't want to be gluttonous. He didn't want to overdo too much outside of his lane. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but doesn't that make you a sloth? You don't want to leave the comforts of your safety or what you deem your comfort zone.
But
You don't want to you don't
lazy?
want to get out of your pocket.
Does that make him
That's
lazy
being a
or
sloth.
prideful?
Mm.
No, I think that's being a sloth. Somebody that's not willing to leave their comfort zone in order to, because I mean, with the talent that he had, he could have been anybody. He could have been a very,
That is
very good musician. He did not want to do that. He wanted to be low key. He wanted to drink his little liquor, play his little music. He didn't want to leave the comfort of where he was. That
yeah.
is being a sloth, you
But
know.
he was also motivated because of the liquor, so that made him gluttonous for sure.
I think I don't think that the liquor I think that the liquor was a motivation, but I don't think that that was more of a deciding factor. I think it was Stack giving him an easy way to
To
still
do.
remain in his pocket. So you're telling me I can go here, I can be around the crowd that I want to be around, I can do the music that I want to do, and you're giving me free drinks. Okay, he's not doing anything special to leave his
Yeah,
pocket.
he's staying in his
You know what
comfort
I'm saying? He's still in that comfort zone. All I'm doing is taking your comfort zone from here and moving it over to here. You know what I'm saying? So it's not.
so complex, and that's why I wanted this question to come up because it was something that was going around. Because when you think of from the spiritual aspect, right, the religious aspect, the sins and the definitions of the seven deadly sins are very clear. But then when you think of the clinical aspect, and then you think about the trauma and the context of in which you are these sins, it's not so black and white. Like it's very interesting to me. So there is a debate that is currently still going on right now. I sent you guys to TikTok. of who was worse. Was it Star-Lord in Avengers, or was it Grace Chow in terms
Mhm.
of causing everyone to be killed, and in terms of um, just how they were? So, like,
That's funny.
with their role,
Um,
who was worse? Was it Grace Chow in Sinners or Star-Lord in Avengers?
so are we talking about like the impact of what happened due to their
Basically,
carelessness, and
due to due to what they did. Yes.
then you have to go Star Lord.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I
Nah,
said Grace.
I'm not going
Yeah.
Star Lord. It's Grace.
How's it Grace?
I'm not
The,
going Star
the
Lord.
the
If
impact
it
of what
wasn't for
happened.
Star Lord, first of all, Star Lord was acting off of pure emotion over the woman that he loved, not
Grace was
coming
acting
to the recollection.
off emotion of her family.
But listen to this, right? So
I feel like she had more
if it
context
wasn't
though.
if it if it wasn't for Star Lord doing what Star Lord did, we wouldn't have had the events of Endgame. So part of what Doctor Strange saw was Star Lord reacting to that. And in order for that one outcome to happen, because out of the 7 million outcomes that he's seen that they all lost, only one that they actually won. So without that reaction, without them, because even if he didn't react, I believe that they would have still lost on that planet. It would have just been probably worse. He would have probably killed
But we're not talking
these
about the impact
actors.
on the planet.
I mean,
We're
these
talking about the
actors, these
impact of what
characters.
happened when Thanos snapped everybody away, half the universe
Right, but he
away.
didn't snap them right away, right then and there. I can understand, like, if he had all of the Infinity Stones right then and there, he got the last one and he snapped. Yes, then at that point in time, I could say, all right, Star Lord was in the wrong in that particular instance. I don't believe Star Lord was in the wrong at this particular instance. I don't think that they would have necessarily won. Um,
Hmm.
Thanos already had the Power Stone. He already had he was on his way to get the Mind Stone. And what other stones he had? He had the Reality Stone. So the power in the Reality Stone right then and there would have, there was already at a disadvantage, and he was trying to get the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange used the Time Stone to look at all of these different scenarios in order
Yeah,
to figure
of
out which one
which way they were.
was the one, and then he didn't say anything, which means that he already knew the outcomes. He knew that Star-Lord was going to react. He knew that Iron Man was going to get stabbed. He knew that ultimately right then and there that they were going to lose. But what would you rather do? Knowing this, knowing Strange knew everything, would you rather lose and nobody dies at that particular point, and we figure out what we're gonna do next because Doctor Strange knows what's gonna happen? Or do we do we go this way and go a different route, alter the timeline of what Doctor Strange already seen, and then ultimately lose and never win? At least in this instance, what Star Lord did gave them a chance to win ultimately with Thanos. What Grace did was she invited she invited this in. They wasn't ready to fight. They wasn't ready to.
They only had
They
time.
didn't even have a plan. They didn't even have a plan. I mean, one Annie's plan was to wait until the morning. Stack was wondering where whatchamacallit went out to, great Mary went out to, like nobody really had a full plan. And then Grace overreacts and invites them in. So
And they all died.
right, had Grace not done that and they would have waited it out until the morning, they wasn't going anywhere. They wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't gonna go into town and grab the
You
kids. He
don't
wasn't
know
gonna do
that.
none of that stuff. It was all a bluff. It was all a ruse to get them to let them inside so that ultimately he could get to Sammy. At the end of the day, they could have threatened the vampire back, like, oh, we'll kill Sammy. Like it's a bluff on a bluff. You gotta. It's poker at this point. It's chess. You gotta.
I don't know. I
You
hear
gotta.
a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas. That's what I
But
hear. That's what I hear
but
right now.
if you're asking me who is worse, it's Grace. Grace got everybody killed. Grace got herself killed.
That is true.
At least with
Indeed.
Star Lord may have lost that battle on Titan, but nobody died. And then when Thanos snapped, he was still there. He was literally still there. Everybody got snapped,
Still
but
got half the universe killed. I'm just saying.
yeah, but even with half the
Yeah,
universe gone, half
yeah,
the universe
yeah.
was gone for a purpose.
I
You know
don't
what I'm
know because
saying?
they
It was
wait,
all
time
brought
out, time
back,
out, time
and
out,
it
time
was
out, time out,
all
time out, time
because
out,
of what
time out,
ultimately what they
time
allowed.
out.
Because all
Flag
right,
on the play.
put it this way,
You said
Hold on.
Doctor
play.
Strange
Flipping.
knowing if Doctor Strange knowing everything
I
and
get what you're
seeing
saying.
Star Lord overreact, he could
Mhm.
have easily been like, "We're good, we're good. Don't." She's gonna come back in a way. Don't worry about it. Like, chill. And Star Lord would have just been like, you know what, suck it up. Let's get the gauntlet off. What happens then? What happens then? Because there was no guarantee that they was gonna get. Okay, they was right there. They thought that they had it off. There's no guarantee, bro. This is Thanos we talking about. Thanos was a multiverse threat. He still is
I
in the comics.
I get what you're saying. I do, but we also don't know what would happen if they would have got the gauntlet off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was still powerful without the gauntlet. The gauntlet just made him OP. He was still powerful without the
yeah,
gauntlet.
but we don't know what would have happened regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gave him that OP, the overpowered whatever, but we don't know what would happen.
This is juicy.
But we do know
So
what happened. They
No,
ultimately
we
saved the
no, we
universe
don't. Yeah,
because
later. Yeah, like 5 years later,
allowing all right.
he
So
snatched half the
they
universe
ended up
away.
saving the universe and everybody's alive. Everybody lived.
Yeah, in
Grace
like
allowed
five
everybody to
movies
come in
later.
and everybody died. Everybody
Yeah,
died. Literally
yeah, but
everybody died but Sam.
this was long. Okay, so everybody died, right?
Mhm.
But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, everybody had trauma for like 5 years. They had to go through all of this with half the universe
I'd
missing.
rather have trauma and deal with
Bullshit.
my trauma
Bullshit.
and be alive than to be dead
I don't know.
and
I
not
don't
have to deal
know.
with
I might
any
want to be
trauma.
dead.
Like
I might want to be
what are
dead
we talking about here?
because he snapped the
Would you
universe and
rather
he snatched
live?
Star Lord away,
You
didn't he?
and he still came back. He's still alive.
I don't know,
Still
man.
living, breathing.
I don't know. What if
uh,
they cut those movies short?
it's
Then what?
gonna be juicy. I knew this was gonna be juicy. So I'm gonna weigh in here because I could go on forever with this. It's so many
Yeah.
things for this. So I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna bring it from because I do study behavioral science. It's behavioral analyst, so that's kind of
Wow.
my thing, and
Heard you.
psychology here. So yeah, I told you I'm a Jill of all trades. There's a lot of things y'all don't know, but so here's the thing. First
Could
of
you
all,
say Jill?
it's Jill of all trades. Yes, I am.
That's hilarious.
So here's the thing. From a technical and psychological standpoint, Grace is worse. But I'm gonna break it down why. So Star Lord, yes, he killed more people, but he reacted.
He killed the whole
I'd be
half the
like,
universe, but whatever. You know,
he killed half the universe, but
she killed about 10 people in the barn. You know, whatever though. Yeah, half the
he,
universe, ten
he
people in the
killed
barn.
half the universe. But it wasn't about. This is gonna sound really kind of cruel, but it wasn't about what happened. It was about what led to what happened.
The
So
impact, yeah.
we have to think of their actions leading up to that ultimate action. Star Lord's frame of mind, he had helped a bunch of people before. His mind frame, his heart was all for helping to save the universe. He did not intentionally get half the universe killed. So let's start there. Grace, on the other hand, she never cared about them folks. Okay? If I was them, they should have been thrown out anyway. She never cared
That's
about them.
crazy.
She never tried to save them. She was never trying to help save them. So her intent right off the bat, she never had a heart for others. So that starts right there. So she was already a liability. And when they kept trying to tell her, don't do that, and the reason why, she still ignored them and did what she wanted to do, what she felt was best for her, and got herself and everyone killed.
So you know what's not fair about this is the fact that in the world, in the world of sinners, they didn't know about vampires. So going into this, it's not like the intention of to
Wait,
be
hold on,
like.
bro. Hold on. Let me grab you some ibuprofen before you hurt your back moving the goalposts.
What do you mean?
That was funny. I'm sorry. That was funny. It's the
What
way
do
he
you
said
mean?
it.
That's crazy. How did I move the goalpost?
You are, bro. You're literally moving the
How?
goalposts. Go ahead,
How?
bro. Finish what you were saying.
No,
Go ahead.
no. Explain
Nah, go
how.
ahead,
I
bro.
elaborate.
Go ahead, bro.
Elaborate
Finish what you
further
were
on
saying.
what you're talking about. How did I move the goalpost?
Bro, you're moving the goalposts, bro.
How?
So I
How?
think he's saying because the question was who was worse? Was it Grace in Sinners or Star Lord in Avengers? And so, like I said, the
You
Grace
can't
was
say
worse
because
because
they
of her
knew the threat and one didn't know the threat. They knew there
Yeah,
was a
but
threat
she.
outside. They literally
But she.
saw
No,
that
no, no, no,
point.
no, no,
inside
no,
that
no.
there
Her
was a threat.
ignorance,
Okay.
she knew there
Okay.
was a threat, and she was
Okay.
forewarned not to do what she
They
did.
was fully cognizant that there was a threat.
She
They
Okay.
didn't
But
care.
they
the
saw
okay.
Stack dead.
But
They
the
saw
argument
Mary
was
killing Stack.
new and new information was brought into the situation where she said the Star Lord had the intention because he had already helped people in the past. He's done this before. His intention was to help. This threat's been here. They didn't know about the threat
Nobody knew
in
what
Sinners.
Thanos was capable of. They just knew that he was collecting the Infinity Stones, and they didn't want him to
Bullshit.
get all of them. That nobody knew who Thanos
No,
was.
I will interject. They, on some level, they did know what Thanos was capable of. That's why they were trying to stop him from getting the
They
Infinity
didn't.
Stone.
They didn't
And
know what he was. They didn't know what he was capable. They didn't know that he was trying to snap half the universe. That wasn't
Bruce
what.
Banner came
That,
to Earth. What are you talking about?
bro,
Bruce Banner came to
bro.
Earth.
He came to Earth and said Thanos is coming. That's all he said.
They
Thanos is
they
coming.
all
Nobody
they
knew
all
exactly what
knew.
he was coming for. What he was. Well, they knew he was coming for the Infinity Stones, but they didn't know what he
Who's
was
moving the
doing with
goalpost
the
now?
Infinity
Where
Stones.
is the goalpost? Because I can't see it.
Nobody
The
knew that he was going
goalpost
to
is
snap half the universe,
the
bro.
goalpost is gone now.
Not one Avenger knew that he was going to snap half the universe. They
How
thought
did
that
we
he was
get here?
going after the Infinity Stones to become this powerful all
all powerful
tyrant.
being, these omnipotent being.
They thought that he
That
was
was
going.
the
He
thought.
wanted to rule the universe or something, and they couldn't let that happen. They
What's the
didn't know that he
difference?
was going to snap half the universe.
What's the difference? Even a threat. A threat is a threat. Whether you're trying to control the universe
Okay,
or
okay,
snap it half away, it's a
so,
threat.
so
And he was willing to kill them for trying to stop him.
And that's
So
fine. My
so
argument
look,
is Grace didn't
the
go
only
into the
people that
barnyard.
saw, but look, the only person that saw what Thanos was capable of at that point in time, prior to them going to Titan and meeting him there, was two people, because one of them was dead. Loki died. Thor was broken and had to go get a new
Okay,
okay.
get an axe, get
but
Stormbreaker,
I feel like you're talking about
and
morality
Hulk.
here,
Hulk
and
was
it's
so
not fair.
broken that he couldn't even transform into the Hulk. And he's trying to
It's not
explain to
fair.
them,
So
like, yo,
at
this
Because
the
dude
end
is
of the
coming.
day, even with the circumstances being what they are, intention
we talking
matters.
about morality here, right?
We're talking about morality. We're talking about,
That's not fair.
matters of the heart.
Because yeah,
We're talking about
even though
what he did.
listen, even though she did go into that with the mindset of like I have to take care of my own, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? She went into there like, hey, we have a
Because
job
they
to
were
do. We're gonna get
covering
our job.
her.
Yeah,
They were covering her. They were willing to protect her and were risking their lives to help her because they considered she was there. So they considered her a part of the people that they were protecting. She
and she
never
was
had
also in an
that mindset.
emotional state.
They ultimately all died
Oh.
because of her selfishness. Literally, they
Yeah,
all died because of her selfishness. At least
that's
with Star-Lord's
tough.
selfishness,
That's tough. That's
they
tough.
ultimately
I don't
won in the
know.
end, and everybody came back.
Star Lord had a genuine reaction in the moment, but he did not come
This
he became
This
overcome by his emotions in the moment, which is dangerous.
listen,
But
listen.
Grace, her intention, her path, her
Hey,
behavior
hey,
from start
hey.
to finish was that of selfishness.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
and that's the thing though, and
Listen.
that's another thing too,
Oh
because
no, 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 no,
context
no, no.
does matter. And if
It
we're
does.
talking about the
Listen.
context of both reactions, Mary was sitting. I mean, not Mary. Grace was sitting on her reaction for like a half hour,
Listen.
bro. She was sitting on her reaction
Listen.
for like a half hour, an hour, bro. Like they
Listen.
was literally all talking and we should wait till the sun comes up, or we should do. And then she's just sitting there for like an hour, like this. You know
It
what?
definitely wasn't an hour.
Fuck
It definitely
what
wasn't an
everybody
hour.
else is
Wasn't an
talking
hour.
about.
Listen.
F this.
You have this white man come up to the front of the front of the door speaking your language with your husband right next to him. You telling me this girl wasn't emotional? This man was speaking
But
in
that's
her
the thing, though.
language.
They was all sitting there for like an hour trying to figure out what was going on and what they was going to do, trying to make a plan. Matter of fact, they was in the middle of making the plan, and Grace was like, "Come inside."
What? They
They wasn't even ready for them to come. Nobody had weapons or nothing like that. They had to hurry up and grab weapons and
she
stuff.
don't know what's going on.
Come on,
She
bro.
don't know what's going
Don't
on.
give me that, bro.
She said,
Here's what I'm trying to understand. So here's the thing about behavioral analytics. She would have never made the decision to do that had she not had the prior behavior pattern prior to that. Think about what Star-Lord did after what he did. He still tried to help save the universe at the end of the day. She would have never made that choice because of her prior behavior that led up to that. Intention matters. She never came there with the notion of we're in this together.
and that's why I don't think that's fair.
They were covering her.
How wasn't it fair?
She's a woman. Of course they're going to cover her.
Oh, this is Star-Lord lost the love of his life.
That's going to get into that's a different debate right there.
Star-Lord just found out that the love of his wife was killed by her father. Literally, right then and there. So his immediate reaction
that the love of her life was killed by this white
Irish guy because he killed the love of my life. Doesn't matter what anybody else is saying. Like, bro, like I'm nah, bro. Like, I need to lay hands and feet on this guy.
Well, I will say
Grace
right about two things. One, grief will make people react in certain ways that you never would have thought that you would react. So I have to okay. She was still reeling off the fact that she's the one that sent her husband out there. So she's the reason that her husband is dead. So I'm sure that was going through her mind.
I get that, but you also have to understand that Grace had something bigger to live for. She still had 2 kids to raise.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what happened to her husband. He went outside. We know that he was turned. There's no coming back from that.
You're talking about a woman.
I can't go outside and unturn him from a vampire.
Well, typically when a woman is in distress, that's when she has to rise and figure things out. Most times
you have bigger things to worry about. You have 2 kids to raise on your own now. I gotta get home to my kids. That's my first thought. She's literally in the movie with kids. My first thought is I need to get home to my kids.
You're obviously
nothing y'all talking about matters.
You are consumed by emotion. You're not thinking logically. I will say that.
You're thinking logically.
My wife is sitting right here. My wife is right here.
This man
hold on.
just threatened my kid.
Listen.
How does he know about my kid?
Right here. I got 4 kids. Something happens to her.
I understand.
Doesn't matter what happens to her. Sorry, I
understand.
Doesn't matter what happens to her.
What you're saying.
I have to get home to my kids.
Logically, yeah, you're thinking logically.
If she dies, she's dead. I can't go out there and undead her.
You're speaking from a logic standpoint. I understand what you're saying.
And
but
even in that moment, they were sitting there for a full hour, and the vampire outside was sitting there like,
how can I get
inside this house? You know what? I'm gonna rouse her up. I'm gonna be like, you know what? Yo, I'll go get your kids right now.
I don't blame Grace.
If she would have said, I'll go outside, like all she had to do was say, I'll come outside. You're putting everybody else's lives in jeopardy because of your selfishness, because you want to kill your husband to make sure he's dead.
I don't blame Grace at all.
So you blame Star-Lord because he killed more people?
That's crazy.
I don't blame Grace for what she did because, like I said, it was a lot of distress.
That's crazy. If it wasn't for Grace, they would have all been alive. Period.
If it wasn't for Mary, they would have all been alive. What
I
are we
mean,
saying here?
Technically,
What are we
technically,
saying here?
technically, not necessarily, because even with Mary being turned and Stack being turned, they could have waited till the morning. They would have still all been alive. And
Coulda, shoulda,
technically,
wouldas.
it wasn't.
You
It
know who was
technically,
out
yeah,
there?
it was
Mary.
Mary, but technically it was Stack too, because all Stack had to do was say, "Nah, f those white folk. I don't care
And then,
what they talking
then
about outside.
hey,
Stay here.
hey,
We don't need
you know what
that."
I'm saying? Then
But
blame
the
Stack.
thing
They
is,
didn't kill
Stack
his
was
brother
thinking,
like he should have. So they all at fault. But
I don't blame Grace.
Grace,
Like I said, it was a lot in this
Grace
strip.
invited the mother effers in. Okay, that's all I'm
all
saying.
right, we've been on this
Star-Lord
topic
did
for an
not
hour. Let's
invite people, and yeah, we got to move on. I
yeah,
mean,
we
this
gotta
was
move on, man. We've
juicy.
been on this topic for
There
a
is
full
way
hour.
in. We want to know what you guys think, Star-Lord or Grace, but we do gotta
I don't know.
move
When we
on.
go offline, we got to revisit this because what are we talking about here?
Ooh. All right, Tilo Bella Ramsey hate. Okay, I've loosely been hearing about this. Like, first of all, she's a phenomenal actor. Let me just say that.
Why do we hate her?
I don't, a lot of times a person plays a character way too well, or they don't play it well
Interesting.
enough, and people forget to separate the actor from the character, and they get a lot of hate. This is not the first actor that this has happened to be honest.
Absolutely.
So yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh shoot.
And why are you zoomed in like this? Why do we see your forehead?
I don't know. It's an AI camera. Sometimes it got a mind of its own. And I was very adamant, and then it just started moving. So yeah, blame Derek.
Oh wow, that's actually crazy.
So what are you guys' thoughts on
Um,
this? This happens
but
to a lot
not
of actors,
not
unfortunately.
I get the hate, but I don't get the hate at the same time. Like, you could not like the casting of a character that's beloved, and that's fine. Not every casting is gonna be perfect,
Yeah.
but as long as the story and the actor that's being casted does justice to the character, then I don't see any wrong with that. Everybody knows my gripes with the show. I think it's just moving way too fast. As a fan of the games, who's played every single game multiple times. Shoot, I'm doing my third playthrough on part 2 currently. It's just it's tough. It's tough, but in that token, I mean, the hate and the memes, the
Cyberbullying,
micro
for sure.
and macro aggressiveness of hate that's being spewed to her. I mean, this is still a person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Woman, man, or not, whatever. This is still a person, a human being with feelings, with genuine with genuine feelings. I mean, a genuine heart, somebody that's trying to put their all into a character that's beloved by many people that love the game. You don't you it's tough, man. It's tough. I see all the memes,
a lot of actors get to escape this, unfortunately, and it does do something mentally to a lot of characters. I can remember Heath Ledger's journey. He overdosed.
Even Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah,
Daniel Radcliffe for so long couldn't escape Harry Potter and this. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I feel for her. I really do.
Nobody should have to do that. She's not
nobody. I mean, especially a woman, though. I mean, it's tough. Like, you don't.
Wait. Time out.
Uh-oh.
What?
You feel for her, huh?
Yeah. You about to go back to Grace? No. We are on to the
what?
No.
I've never said anything bad about Bella Ramsey, so you can.
But you feel for her. Do you know this woman?
Oh, here we go. Why is it so difficult? First of all,
why can't people empathize with what people are going through?
Wow. Wait a second. Okay. Whoa. Wait a second. Let me take this. Hold on. Let me okay, because if I remember correctly, let me go
Mhm.
back to the chat. Um, what was
I,
the statement that one of us are we
I
made?
do think we were empathizing with somebody, and
Celebrity, we are not celebrities, and we can't
because
allow celebrities to
we
um
don't know them.
because we don't know them, so we cannot be representatives of
Just because we
celebrities, and
don't
they cannot
just
represent
all
us.
right, well, hold on,
We
hold on. First of all,
cannot
I didn't say that. That's not something that I
What?
no,
What?
don't all
you
right,
backed
look, look,
it,
look, look. First of
you
all,
backed
first of
it,
all, first of all,
you
first of all,
backed it.
first of all, listen. All I'm saying is regardless of what anybody is going through, as a
Oh,
as a human being,
your tone
I
changed.
no, not at all. Because I don't necessarily agree with that. Just because I could find one thing funny doesn't mean that I can correlate it with how I personally feel about it. I could laugh at something that's effed up and be like, that's effed up. I really shouldn't be laughing at it, but it's funny.
Well, we
You know
all
what I'm
can.
saying? Like you can separate the two. There's people that still listen to R. Kelly but believe that everything that he did was wrong.
That's true.
You
Absolutely,
know what I'm
but
saying?
what
You
what
can
what what does this
separate
have to do
But
art
with
you just
empathizing?
gave you just
and
gave
the
an example,
actor and the
right? You
character.
separate the art from the person,
Right. I
and
can
that's
do
what
that.
they're
I
not
can
doing with her, and that's wrong.
Yeah, but that's not what this is about.
Oh,
We're talking
here
about
we go.
empathizing with celebrities. You said, and I quote,
Well,
"I don't know these people."
I'm not empathizing with the celebrity. I'm empathizing with the person.
what she's
So
going through.
What?
I'm not
Wait a minute, she is
at the
the
end of the
celebrity.
day, what she's I mean, this is ultimately all she did was take on a role. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
And you got people
Mm.
that love the video game that don't believe that she's right for the role. And whether I believe that she's right for the role
she
or
doesn't
not, that's
deserve
not for me to
it.
judge. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is it's not right to make fun of her because in spite of her having this role.
You
You know
are
what I'm
correct.
saying? Like I do I think that some of the memes about her are funny? A little bit. They're messed up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't help but to laugh at stuff. If I find something funny, it's going to be funny. Now I can say I shouldn't laugh at it. It's messed up. It's that's messed up. Don't do that. I mean, my wife, she trips and falls. Am I not supposed to laugh? Like, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
you're
Like, come
not.
on,
You're
bro.
not supposed to
Don't
laugh.
do me like that.
Well, actually,
All
But
I'm
no.
saying
but
is
this is
I
still
I can
not what
but
we're
look, but
talking
look, but look,
about.
but look,
Okay,
in
and
your
it's good
example,
enough, then you laugh.
I can laugh at my wife for falling on her face, but still
Not
be
on her
like,
face. No,
yeah, all the way on her face. Mess up her. Yeah,
no.
she's clumsy. She's mad clumsy.
Wow, that's crazy.
But look,
Divorce him.
she could
You just gonna
fall,
out her like that
she could
on
fall,
national TV?
and I can still feel bad that she fell, but laugh at the fact that she fell. I can separate those two. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know her personally.
Yeah, but this is
I
still
don't know her
not.
personally, and whether I believe that she was rightly casted for this role, I loved her in Game of Thrones. I loved her
I loved
as
her in The Worst Witch. She was awesome.
see. Do I believe that she was casted correctly for this role? I don't know, honestly, because I don't know what their options were. I don't know who else was in the running for this role. And in my mind, I don't know who could have played Ellie. I know who could have played Abby. I don't
Yeah,
know who could have played Ellie. I didn't have. I didn't, you know
you
how
wasn't good about
you
that. Yeah.
see a character and you're like, oh, I can envision this person
Hmm.
playing this character. Like what's his name? Aquaman. What's
Hmm.
his name?
Jason
You know what I'm
Momoa.
talking about. Jason Momoa.
Oh yeah, he was
Perfect,
totally.
perfect cast
Ooh,
for Aquaman, right? But like for Batman, there's been so many characters that played that role that it's kind of hard to be like, all right, well, this
my
person will be
favorite's
good for
Christian
that role.
Bale.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know who would have been rightly casted as Ellie. I
Mm.
know who would have been rightly casted as Abby. I don't think that the girl that they casted, but she's not getting hate for it, which is crazy to me because if you ever played the game, Abby is Abby is juiced. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a running joke in the gaming community that she was transgender. Like nobody knew that she was actually a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And she was getting hate as a video game character, so I can see how Bella Ramsey would get hate as an actual live action character. I don't think it's
This
right.
is too much, though. This is too much.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I mean, she's deleted her social media platforms. She doesn't want to do appearances right now. The season's almost done. They only did 7 episodes this season, and
I
she's
would be
contemplating not
curious
coming
to
back for
see.
season 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what her contract is, because sometimes you have a contract season by season, and sometimes you have a contract for seasons. So I'm curious
Well,
what
it
her
was all
contract is.
except for Pedro, the the main cast, the guy that's playing Pedro's brother in the show,
Yeah.
um Bella Ramsey and Abby, they're all casted for 3 seasons.
So
And
she's gonna
season 3 was matter of fact, they're already talking about season 4.
so she's gonna have to finish out her contract. Yeah, she has to finish her contract unless they mutually agree to swap her
Well, I
out.
mean, they're about to be done with if they're going into season 3. I haven't seen the last episode, but from everything that they're saying, they're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger, go into season 3
Mm.
and try to finish the story. Like I said, they're moving way too fast.
Well,
But
you hear nerds and everyone else, gaming community, leave this girl alone. It's a
yeah,
character she's playing. She is a
yeah,
human being just like we are. You don't have to like her. You don't have to like her role, but you should not be bullying her. We do not support bullying on this platform. Now,
facts.
moving on. Xbox Next Generation. I am an Xbox owner. What you guys think?
So the rumor is that the next Xbox that they already been working on is going to come with Steam and Epic integration. Now, for those of you that don't know, Steam and Epic are PC platforms that sell games. Epic is a good one to go to because it's DRM free, majority of it. And Steam is one of the hugest PC platforms there is ever. Period. So if Xbox is making a console that would allow you to play PC games on
Games?
your TV. This is not only a huge win for both gaming communities, console and PC, but this is Xbox or Microsoft bowing out of the console wars. They're already, in my opinion, they're already on that doorstep because they've been slowly integrating their games onto other platforms and consoles.
Yeah,
So
they have been.
Nintendo, PlayStation, they've been getting. I mean, Gears of War
Yeah.
remaster coming to PlayStation. So I think that this is a good move for Microsoft. At the end of the day, Microsoft is a technology company. Xbox is their gaming brand.
I was just about to
You could
say that.
keep right, so you
They're
could keep
not
your brand
they're not Xbox. You know what I mean?
right.
Xbox is an entity of them. So I think this is a
So imagine
very
if I make a Windows-based console where you can play your console games, still have Game Pass, but also have your PC games where you're able to play your PC games on a TV.
yeah.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Usually you have to have your PC and be on a monitor and stuff like that. But imagine just one place, one stop shop. This is literally this is like taking all of your streaming platforms and putting them all on one place. This is Disney Plus putting Hulu and FX on their platform. This is literally what they're doing. So I think it's a win for the gaming community. It's a win lose for Microsoft.
Well, they're so allegedly it's going to be possibly named Xbox Prime. And
Mm.
it's set, if it is going to happen, it's set to launch in late 2026. Yeah, I know I had to do my research. And it will the potential release date is earlier than the typical console generation lifespan of 7-8 years. So it would put the Xbox X S at the end of its life cycle in 2026. So I mean, tech. They're calling this giant tech leap for Microsoft. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens.
Like I said, I think it's a win for the gaming community. I
Hmm.
mean, imagine me being able to play my PC games with you guys who are on Xbox right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I
it's
love
a
Xbox. I don't know. I don't know. I just love
yeah.
it.
I think it's a huge win,
Yeah.
especially for somebody like this guy over here, Captain Charisma, who
And
Whoa,
also,
whoa,
2026
whoa.
also marks
no,
the
I'm saying it's good for
anniversary
you because you'll be able to play PlayStation games which have been ported over to PC. So you'll be able to play The
Yeah.
Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima because it'll be on Xbox via Steam.
So next year also marks the 25th anniversary for Xbox and Halo. And
There's rumors that Halo's coming to Nintendo.
yes, and
Wow.
also they're releasing the next Call of Duty next year with the Xbox allegedly.
Aren't we
Allegedly, yeah.
sick of Call of Duty games, man?
Call of Duty is one of the biggest
Listen,
franchises
they
in
make
gaming.
money, 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 money.
Yes.
So it is very interesting um how this is gonna unfold. I like the name. I like where this is going. Apparently, it's going to have a new cloud technology element to it. So you'll be able to store things in the cloud. Everything has a cloud now. And yeah, it'll have like they're implementing some type of AI into it. This is just it's a lot of rumors around this, but this is just some of the stuff that I was able to dig up. Yeah. So I'm liking this. I'm looking forward to it. Um, and this is gonna be revolutionary for the gaming community. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just when I was about to give in and get a PS5, I think I'll hold out for this.
Your thoughts, Derek?
Um, it's exciting. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope this is not a rumor. Like, I hope it's just I hope it's something that's actually coming to fruition. I hope it's not just some rumor. But I sent
I hope
y'all
so.
the screenshot, and it's from a credible leaker. So I'm
I mean,
I'm
I
Well, I
hoping that
went on some more researching after that, and according to the sources that I've read, we have MSN.com, we have GameSpot.com. These are all sites that are reporting on this. We have Gadget Review. These are all very credible sources that have been also reporting on this. So it's not just from that leaker. These are credible sources. So I think this might actually happen. I think it's coming. Yeah.
I'm hoping.
We
So
side
that
our
way I could play some
guys.
PC games with y'all.
yes.
I mean, when I'm on it, I do PlayStation with my nephews or my brother, but it would be nice to be able to kind of be in our separate places and still, play. But on to another form of anime. So, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you do know, uh, Magical Girl era is a sub genre of anime, of Japanese anime and manga. So, um, I love this. People, examples of it is Sailor Moon, She-Ra, few others. So, and Magical Girl era started in the 60s, actually, 1960s.
Well,
So, yeah. So there's some new stuff developing in the Magical Girl era. A lot of people felt like that this subgenre was kind of like dying out because most of the animes in this subgenre kind of I won't say the same, but some of it was like mm, kind of like had the same overall basis, like morale wise. So
repetitive.
yeah, everything was like had to do with love and emotion and
Same
they
shit.
like it was kind of like I mean I love Sailor Moon. Everybody knows I'm a diehard Sailor Moon fan, but When you think about even the theme song, it talked about it. Even Shira, she, was doing this to help others and to save the world, but also it was a whole thing. So there's this girl who I think her name is, if I wanna get this right. Um she created a animatic. And for those who don't know, an animatic is basically just like a little mini, not a series, but leading up to a series. And it was called I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. So this was like the buzz on the internet for like a month straight. And she originally, this girl, Kiana, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she originally did it because she wanted to like go away from the stigma of what the magical girl era is, and the typical Sailor Moons and Shiras and everything like that. She wanted something to be like adverse. So, and it blew up. It blew up. She never intended for it to be a series, but she ended up. Everyone's been really pulling for her to make this into a series. This girl is a 27-year-old animator who works for Disney,
Mm.
and she created I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. She has like diverse characters. Like one of the girl, the main characters happens to be black. Um, but the way she did it, like this girl doesn't want anything to do with being a magical being, anything to do with saving the world, but she's doing it anyway. She just happened to stumble into it. She's trying to still deal with the complexities of high school and all that stuff. And so it was refreshing. It was a nice take on everything, like a fresh take on everything. And it actually wasn't cheesy. It didn't have the cheesy love sick, love bomb storyline that a lot of magical girl eras anime has. Now, don't get me wrong, I love how magical girl era is currently, but this was nice. It was a nice change from it, especially because of how girls have evolved. So I don't know. What do you
Mhm.
guys think? Could this be a thing where we're going in the direction of it's still magical girl era, but the direction that she's going, I don't want to be a magical being. I don't want to be a magical girl. Should she make this into a full-fledged series? I mean,
Yes,
she's contracted
absolutely.
to still
Why
work
not?
with Disney, but
Do something different, you know?
it is really
I think that anytime somebody's willing to kind of like step outside the box and step outside like the norms or what uh is deemed what you should be doing,
yeah.
try to do something new, try to create something your own, try to create that space. I think that's dope. Um, you know, look, man, to be a creative, to step out on your own laurels and strap up your boots and just stick to your convictions is dope, man.
And she
I
got her
hope she does
friends.
it.
She got her friends to voice some of the characters. I mean, she has some pretty
It's
talented
dope.
friends. Don't get me wrong, because
Yeah,
again, she
you
works for
know,
Disney, guys.
me and Derek here. If you need some voices, if you need a couple voice actors, me and Derek is right here. You know what I'm saying? You see him, you hear him. Yeah.
Always doing the plug. You
Right there, right
hear
there.
this?
He got the ginger ale close. You know what I'm saying? He keeps his voice box up and running. You know what I'm saying? He good. He good
Insane,
money.
insane.
You know what I'm saying? And he got the talent. You know what I'm saying? He got the shots to go with it. The the
Insane,
shots. You know what I mean?
insane.
You
Yeah,
guys
man. Holla at us.
sure to
We
check
not.
it out. The girl's name is Kiana I hope Con Smith. I hope I'm saying this right, y'all. But yeah, look up Pretty Please. I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl. She
Okay.
did a pilot animatic and it's dope. Everyone is rooting for her to turn this into a series. I really hope she does. She has something really good. I would definitely tune in. I'm a fan of her work in general. She's been at Disney for years at this point. And she didn't get any crazy people. She literally got animator friends and game. Some of them are gamer friends. She got friends that she knew, some off Twitter, some she had never even met, and to do voices in this animatic. And so she originally started doing sketch. She did all the sketching herself. She originally started doing the sketching and everything. She I followed her journey on Twitter actually, and
She
then
got a Kickstarter.
I don't know if she went
Yeah, if
that
she got a
far
Kickstarter, we
with
should
her yet.
definitely support. I think that's the
But
best way to support because
I
there's another black kid who who's starting his anime journey and he's doing everything by himself and
she's doing everything by
his animation is top notch. But he did a Kickstarter
and
and
we gotta
it's
support
getting
this.
funding.
Yeah, we definitely gotta support this. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta support all animators and gamers and things like that. But you know, that's a black animator that he was just talking about. As well as Kiana, she's a Blasian. I call them Blasians. She's but she's
She's
dope.
a brown. She's brown, man. That's all
Yeah,
that matters.
dope.
We
She's
support
dope.
them. Yeah.
So yeah, I think everybody should check it out. We need some fresh blood in the Magical Girl era. I feel like some people have forgotten about it. I mean, we still watch all the Die Hard stuff, but we need something fresh. We need some fresh takes in this era.
Yeah, man. New creative animes and stuff like
yes.
that. Yeah, that's dope.
And you
Yeah.
guys gotta check her out.
Me
She's
too.
on X as well, but and also on her YouTube, and you can follow and see where she's at in the journey. Hopefully
Yeah,
she
find
can
out she has a Kickstarter because I definitely like the support.
Yeah, guys, check it out. And if you guys have any other ideas for this subgenre, let us know so we can kind of get it out there too. Or if there's some more animators out there, do your thing so we can check it out. We're always looking for that stuff. So yeah,
Send them in.
send them
Send them in.
in. Are we out to the verses now?
We have a
We
versus.
didn't do a versus this week.
Are we
Nobody
freestyling it?
picked anybody.
Are we freestyling a verses this week?
Oh yeah, we could freestyle it. Grace versus
No,
Star-Lord.
please no. Please no.
Obviously, Star-Lord is winning, but okay.
Please
Grace
no.
doesn't have any powers.
Please no.
Star-Lord
He
don't.
doesn't know any powerful.
Not for real.
He knows,
Yeah.
but he knows powerful beings.
He don't.
Grace don't.
Please no. No.
All right.
No. Not at all, Derek.
All right,
No.
shut it down. Shut it down. It's okay. It's
No.
okay.
He's not letting us go. You know
It's
that
fine.
not gonna
No,
do that.
no. It's fine.
No,
It's
that
fine.
high fish. No.
Oh,
Over it.
for the record, Mary's boyfriend,
Not
Roman Reigns.
Oh.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
He
single, by the way.
is in the running to be casted as Akuma in the Street Fighter live action.
Yeah, don't say that dumb shit.
Okay, I can halfway see it. Halfway.
I can't. Not
I
even a little
probably
bit.
have some people that I would.
I
play.
don't know. I don't
Not
watch
even a
wrestling
little.
like I used to, so
No, I don't think
I
he should do
don't
that.
really have an opinion. I don't really have an opinion. So.
I think a few people. There's some people I would cast in front. But here's the thing: who is? I got to look up more on this because who is writing the script? Who's doing this? Because the last Street Fighter movie was trash.
Oh, whoa!
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
what
I
Street
haven't
Fighter
really
movie
been
we talking
keeping
about?
up
It's a
on
Street
the
Fighter
Street
movie
Fighter.
that came out in like 20
Oh, I thought you were talking about that one.
20. What was it? Not 2012, but somewhere around there. It was the early
I
something.
thought you was talking about Van Damme Street Fighter. I was about to say, yeah,
No.
listen,
No.
that's a classic. All right.
No.
It was trash.
Hey,
Ooh.
That
hey,
movie was trash.
it's a classic. Okay,
It was
don't be
trash,
disrespectful.
Getting
Don't be
older is
disrespectful.
knowing that some classics, I'm not saying this one, but some classics are trash. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't really have
That's
a
fair.
I don't really have a versus, man. Not this
I
week.
do.
Well, go ahead, say it.
I
And if
did.
it's Grace and Star-Lord, bro, I swear I will turn this. I will turn this
did.
off right now.
I did. I said my piece.
All right. So, in honor of talking about the Magical Girl era, which we didn't really talk too much about, let's do She-Ra versus Sailor Moon. Who would win?
Who?
She-Ra versus Sailor Moon.
Oh, I don't know who She-Ra is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What? It's anime, and y'all don't know all the subgenres of anime. What is wrong with y'all?
I ain't
You
say
know,
my
this is
my
what we talk
level
about
of depth
today.
went back crazy.
This is what we
Yeah, like
say women. We don't we get six here.
I mean, I like to say my level of anime is up there,
can't.
but it's not like
I
up
can't.
there. Like
I can't.
I don't know who She-Ra is. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Like I can't do
I
this.
would, as soon as you said Sailor Moon won.
That's crazy.
I don't know who Shira is.
So who would you pick then?
This is crazy. Even though I love Sailor Moon, I would have to go with Shira.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
And y'all know Sailor Moon's my favorite of all time. But yeah. If we're gonna call it's facts over feelings, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Fact is she would not win.
That's fair. That's fair. You
Yeah,
know
I
who
would
would
have to
win
look her
though?
up. I don't know
She
who
doesn't
she
have
is.
enough power or strength. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna take us out. We enjoyed tonight's episode and bonding with you nerds. We shall see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We want to
Hit the notification bell.
hit that bell. Peace.
Ew, you're a nerd. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Whatever. Nerd, 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 nerd.